EAGLES, Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. Fresh off, 2 joint practices with the New England Patriots have come to a conclusion. We learned a lot more, I think, of this Eagles team than we did about that from that Baltimore preseason game about a week ago. But 2 good joint practices have come to a close. They'll close it out with a preseason game tomorrow evening, Saturday night, for the Eagles and the Patriots. J-Mac, how you doing on this Football Friday? A big week for the Birds this past week.
Yeah, doing well. We got to get past this preseason game. Boy, we got 2 more preseason games. That's a depressing thought.
I'm ready for them to cut it to 2.
Yeah, I'm ready for them to say, "Hey, let's just televise joint practices." I think the NFL would do better. To be honest, I think they could develop another package. They love that. If Park Avenue's listening, sell that as a separate package. You'll make more money than the preseason games make you.
That's actually a good idea by you.
Yeah, they'll people will buy that. You saw the stuff now a little bit different because of the AJ Jalen dynamic, and they talked on the field. It's all gossip, yada yada, TMZ bullshit. But there was so much hype around this particular joint practice because of that. So, I mean, the average ones around the league going on, not quite as that, but, people are really interested in them. And it's almost like their version of the preseason game atmosphere because it is so much more involving the key players. So, I think it would make a lot of money, and I think the ratings would be huge. That's number one. I think joint practices would draw like more than your average baseball or NBA game. I really do, and they could sell them for a lot of money. A lot of money.
I could see it, no doubt about it. Yeah, and John, you're right about this one. Had obviously a little bit more attention on it because of the stories. John, that's what it is, though, man. It's a story. I know we focus a lot on football, but the stories still do drive the narrative in this world and in this league, and that's what it is in a way. It's still an entertainment business, and people are entertained by the AJ Jalen stuff. I, for one, John, I was happy to see him dap it up at the middle of the field. I know it's gossipy, I get it, but I liked seeing him dap it up in the middle of the field. 2 good players who came together and achieved a lot of success together. They've now gone their separate ways, obviously, but I thought it was cool to see Jalen and AJ dap it up at the middle of the field. I don't know what J-Mac thought about it.
Yeah, I don't. I really honestly don't care. I really, from my perspective, it just doesn't interest me. I mean, maybe if I was working for TMZ, I would shift my mentality and be and all that. To me, it's about football, and I hope you're right. I hope years down the road they can at least say, "Man, we did a lot of cool shit together, a lot of success, a lot of." I hope that's that. I hope you're correct. I hope time clarifies that for both of them. Other than that, I already hear the people, "Oh, it's about the cameras." I've heard a bunch of people, and I'm like,
it's a lose-lose. If he doesn't go up,
I know exactly.
And then if he goes up to him, it's performative. It's come on,
exactly. So that's why I can't, I can't be bothered by that. I'm closer to it than most people. Not that I know everything, but to me, the whole thing was about football. And he didn't want to be here, and it's a shame. And obviously, he's a very good player. He dominated from all indications over the 2 days of practice there. And the Eagles aren't quite as good at wide receivers, to say the least. So it's disappointing from that standpoint. But the Mike Tomlin quote I always use: "You don't want hostages, you want volunteers." And he didn't want to be here anymore. So the Eagles did the best they could. Turn the page, and we'll see how it works out from a football standpoint. To me, that's what it's about. I don't care about Reddit rumors or anything else that people think they know. Wasn't happy in the passing offense, But I hope they can, like I say, when they're both done, I hope I have a pretty good feeling that neither's going to have as much success that they had when they were together.
I think that's probably fair to say.
I hope it clarifies down the road for both of them.
John, I feel similar to you about that. We'll see what the Birds can do this year. John, speaking of receiving group, yesterday, we'll recap the practice yesterday. Looked like the Eagles had a good bounce back day, but, both sides of the ball looked pretty good. Offensive line had a good couple days of camp. Makai Lemon did return in limited fashion yesterday. He had the pads on and everything, so he was a partial participant in practice. John, what would you make of some of the storylines that came out of day 2 of joint practice for the Eagles and Patriots?
Yeah, I know, again, secondhand, but from all the reports from people I trust that were there, I kind of look at it different than most people, as usual. I think it was portrayed in most avenues as a win for the Eagles, so that's a positive. I think the Sugar Ray Leonard people, for longtime listeners of the show, they know I often reference that. And what I mean by that is for non-boxing fans, before Floyd Mayweather, at least, Sugar Ray Leonard, I think, was the best defensive boxer of all time. And as he got older, and he had tremendous, skills when he was younger, he would just destroy people. But as he got older, and they kept offering big money for fights, and he probably shouldn't have been fighting, he took a different approach, and it was a very smart approach. It was basically play defense for 2.5 minutes of a round, and then do a flurry at the end and steal the round. And he did it, and he did it, and it was human nature. And they come out of it going, oh, wow. And it's like 2.5 minutes, he's just – and it's hard in boxing. I mean, people don't respect the defensive aspect of it, but that's even harder. So, but they remember the flurry. So what happened yesterday is the Eagles had a good finishing sequence, and they Sugar Ray Leonard everybody. Overall, some of the guys, Jordan Mailata was talking about the running game. That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, it didn't have as
nearly as good.
Yeah.
Talked about having boxing gloves on because they were upset that they got handled the day before and that they didn't play as well. So I kind of look at it opposite. Like they didn't have a good practice and they used the flurry at the end to fool people. So I don't think it was as bad as it was on day one, and as it was portrayed, and I don't think it was as good as it was portrayed on day 2 from everything I saw. And this is all, I freely say that this is all secondhand, but from people I trust. I saw Zach Berman put Mailata's comments out, and he flat out said they had a bad day running the football. And that to me is not good, because that is what I'm focused on, especially without Devontae Smith and Makai Lemon in team drills. But the positive, Makai's finally back in at least a limited fashion, and he should be back on the practice field to start of next week after the preseason game. So that's positive. And so should Devontae, which obviously is positive.
Yeah, no, very positive from that perspective. Well, hopefully he gets out there and hopefully he has a big contribution. John, are you expecting more use for the wide receiver 3 this year in this offense?
Well, in theory, yeah. But I mean, if you see the way the Packers spread the football around, you see the way, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan use multiple receivers, whether that could be tight end, could be receiver, but they should, in theory, they should be spreading the football around more, in theory. But we have to see. I mean, if you need to lean on Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, you lean on Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. A lot of that depends on Dontavian Wicks and Makai Lemon specifically.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they do. I mean, they haven't used it a lot in the past, so I was wondering if, like, yeah, I mean, are we too high? Are we too focused on Lemon just because he's a draft pick? You know what I mean? It's like Jahan Dotson didn't have that big of an impact on that team last year. And he was
No,
the
but
wide
they are
receiver 3.
shifting their
Yeah, right.
offensive
So it's really
philosophy.
the shift.
So,
Yeah.
it's more than
You know how
yeah,
Doug used to do the list of,
yeah.
getting people involved. Well, how would you do that right
Nick
now?
does that too. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
feel like every
definitely
coach does it. I mean,
they got a little. Yeah, every coach does. You're right. They he learned that from Larry Karras. I get fined for saying that, but I'll take the fine. On the call sheet, you always have a section for your top playmakers. So previously that was his first year it was Devontae Smith, and now we're back in year 6. That was before they got AJ. In year 6, it's now Devontae Smith again, and I think it would be they put it by number, so it'll be 6, it'll be 88, and then it'll probably be 13. But when it was 11, 6, and 88, you felt, yeah, that's pretty good, man. It doesn't seem that way anymore.
So you got Smitty, Goedert, Wicks. Where would you put Saquon in that conversation? Do you think they're going to use that?
Well, in the passing game, I'm strictly talking about the passing game. No,
I know, but I'm asking on Saquon about the pass game too. I mean, do you think it's going to be a bigger role than what it's been?
I think it's going to be
offense.
I think it's going to be bigger, but I don't think he's. I just don't think he's capable of being, Christian McCaffrey. So I think it'll be limited by the standpoint they'll try a little bit early and they'll go, it's not that great. So let's go to a different direction. And he'll be, there'll be a couple wheel routes here and there and dump offs. But, he's not one of the top tier receiving backs. He is one of the top tier running backs, and that's where they're going to lean on Saquon Barkley. So he'll be involved, but if you're talking about that number, he's probably, in best case scenario, 5 behind Lemon. And, they can get Will Shipley up to speed and he can show more consistency. Maybe they use him as a third down back.
And he could be. Saquon might be above Lemon, but yeah, probably not. But it depends how.
Well, I'm just talking passing game. If you're talking about weapons, he's
I'm talking passing game. I'm talking passing game. I'm not. I mean,
well, I want to make I'm not. I know
what weapons. Saquon's number 1.
I know what you. I know you know, but I don't think other people know. So I want to clarify. If it's weapons, it's Saquon number 1, right? And number 2 is not close, and that would be Devontae.
Strictly passing game. I mean, I think Makai Lemon has to prove that he's a threat in order to be above Saquon. I know that's not how they played John. Me and you have had this debate before when they first signed Saquon, and I'm like, oh, can't you just line him up at wide? Can't you use him in the pass game? And you were laughing me off the screen, and ultimately,
I got a lot of shit for that, but I get no apologies.
Yeah, well, I apologize because I was fucking way off. But this year, I do think it could be a little different just from the schematic approach. That doesn't mean I think they're going to turn him into Christian McCaffrey, but, does Jalen dump the ball off more? By the way, John, a side note to this combo, I think it would help Jalen to dump the football off more. How many great quarterbacks have you watched in your lifetime? I mean, they throw for 4,500 yards in a year and 1,000 of the yards are dumping it off. Tom Brady dumped it off all the time. The good old take what the defense gives you. I think Jalen could benefit more from doing that a little bit more often.
Well, I think, different styles of quarterbacks. I mean, they have to dump it off. They have to. They're not going to extend.
But shouldn't Jalen, in theory, add that to his game, for the longevity aspect?
Think about if he was a dump off quarterback, think about how many big plays over the years you don't have. And, it's not an answerable question. And sometimes a dump off can turn into a big play. But the reality is you're going to have to make a lot of mistakes to let a dump off go to what some of the extending plays that Jalen, both in the passing game and the running game, not only running it, but also extending it to pass it. Where if you have the Brady mentality, which obviously Tom had to have, he can't extend plays. So it's a different. If you look at all dual threat quarterbacks, they're not dump off quarterbacks because their mentality is extend the play, look for something down the field,
which makes
run.
sense. I guess my mindset is more framed on, that doesn't last as long. You know what I mean? Like that, and we've seen it with Jalen. I mean, he was a better runner in 22 than he is now. Now maybe he goes back, but I don't know if he gets back to 22. Does he?
I don't know. He looks pretty spry. I think he did get too heavy last year. Not a bad heavy. He was jacked, but I think he got too heavy. From a cosmetic standpoint, just building up his body, and I think he lost some of his quickness. And he lost some weight this year, and he looks. And they've been using their best play in the red zone has been quarterback draw. When they spread people out, and they say just go with Jalen. It's been their best play in the red zone the entire summer, and they can do that in short yardage as well. Now, Sean Mannion says they're still going to go tush push, which they probably will, at least until it starts to falter, if it does start to falter again. But I think he's going to have a better year running the football. He seems more equipped to do it. And it might be situationally. It might be in the red zone. It might not be, might only be in short yardage. But I think it's going to be better. And then you have to see if he has the mindset. Look, if you want to shift and turn into that style of quarterback, that's you got to break a decade-long habit of trying to extend plays and say, all right, I'm just going to dump it off. And
it's definitely an uphill battle for somebody that's had the career-long skill set of Jalen Hurts. I understand that part of it.
And then you have in the book of 1001 NFL cliches, one of them is you never go broke with something positive. So, what at 3 yards, 4 yards, whatever, if you're taking that on first down because nothing's there, it's a hell of a lot better than throwing the football away and it's 2nd and 10, or it's, you're losing yardage because you get sacked after extending, or a million things can happen. So it's obviously a give and take, but you never go broke going forward.
I don't disagree with that. I just wonder, whether the new offense brings more out of it. We'll say. I think you make still a good point, obviously, about why hasn't been a big part of Jalen's game, but I do think it's got to shift a little bit for him as his career gets deeper here. So we'll see what that looks like for the Eagles. John, yesterday sounds like, all right, so just recapping here on day number 2 of joint practice, feels like a little bit of a flip almost. The defense didn't have as good of a day 1. They had a pretty strong day 2. Woolen bounced back. That was good. And then the offense, not to say that it didn't look good, but the run game was terrific on Wednesday. That kind of disappeared on Thursday. Hurts had a little bit of an uneven day, but finished pretty strong, as John gave you the reference to Sugar Ray Leonard. All right, so not bad, but
I'll read you Zach's description. The last period overshadowed what had been an inconsistent day for the passing offense, and that's put on my they Sugar Ray Leonard them, man.
Yeah,
they had a good end, and everybody said, "Yeah, they look good." Human nature, man.
Yeah, well, maybe there's some smart moves in that, man. John, we deliver a mediocre show and hit him with 20 minutes of fire at the end, and all of a sudden everyone's like, that's a good show, Nah, we always give good shows. All right, so that's good. John, excited or not excited? That's not the right word for you, but Tariq Woolen bounced back. You've been saying you were a little bit concerned about him consistency wise in camp. Sounds like he had a much better day on day 2. What'd you make of that?
Well, that's the concern. He's consistency. I mean, nobody questions the guy's physical gifts. They're absurd. But you got the whole Woolen experience, evidently. And that's, what Seattle had some issues with, and what Vic has talked about, that consistency from day to day, even snap to snap, can falter. And, I think that's going to be a roller coaster for people throughout the season, because it can get frustrating when somebody's that gifted and they don't, have the details and the consistency and things like that. So I think you're going to see some really big plays from them, and some plays where you scratch your head and go, what the hell is this guy doing? So I think that's kind of the Woolen experience, and that's kind of showing up.
I guess the bar is lower for him. I mean, if he's better than Adoree, I feel like it's a win, no matter what. Is that the wrong way to look at it?
I mean, I don't think there's that. That's where I've gone. I don't think there's any doubt that they're going to be better at that cornerback 2 position. He's going to provide more than the group as a whole. And even Adoree kind of settled things down late, but there's some limitations there. And yeah, I think they're going to be better. So at that position. So that's a positive.
Good stuff there for Tariq Woolen. We'll see how he continues to progress through camp. John, Jalyx Hunt just keeps jumping out, man. He just keeps jumping out. He had another good day on Thursday. I think he had a strip of Ramondre Stevenson and recovered the fumble. Finished practice with a big interception, a diving interception. Jalyx Hunt is just delivering the goods through training camp. He seems poised for a breakout, John.
Yeah, he does. I mean, and I don't even know if he called it a breakout, because I think he broke out last year. But I mean, you want to see him take that next step and be a legit. Boy, if you have 2, if you can get Goedert back and Jalyx Hunt is playing at a top tier level, I can't imagine how good that front will be. Yeah, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Moro Jomo. If you're playing 50, if you're playing 40, you just have Jalen and Jordan, or Moro and Goedert and Hunt. That sounds pretty good if Hunt can keep up this level of play. But he's had an awesome summer. And he just looks like the kind of guy, he's just natural. He's natural. He's a natural. And people just have a difficult time dealing with him because his athleticism is off the charts.
I think he's going to have a huge year this year. I think Vic is going to go crazy with him.
I don't know if that exists.
I just think I imagine if he's as good of a pass rusher in theory as like Goedert could be this year, just from a sense of getting after the quarterback. I mean, and you have Nolan now who's really, I think, a great 3-down edge. I mean, that's going to be a really good edge rusher rotation. Feels like it to me at least.
Yeah, it should be. There's no question. It should be. But for those looking for 20 sacks, I mean, that's not how Vic plays. He's going to function more on the pass rush as a group, the discipline, which isn't as fun, but it's better. It'll make you better as an overall defense. But I mean, for older Eagles fans, they remember Jason Babb, and you're not just going to have freelancing and go, hey, go get the quarterback. We want to get you 20 sacks. That's not how Vic operates. And that's a good thing, by the way. That is a very good thing. So I think in the structure, he's going to have a big year, and they're going to be a really good defense because of that. But they're not worried about individual production, to say the least.
We'll see what that looks like this year. All right, John, keep rolling on here on day number 2 of practice. Jalen Hurts, what'd you make of his 2 days yesterday? Another ugly middle, excellent finish. Little volatile 2 days for Jalen in the offense, but what'd you make of Jalen's couple days of camp with the Patriots? I felt like, what was there, like a lot of interceptions? There was like 4 or 5.
Five interceptions over 2 days. That's not good, but I mean, some of them, from the description weren't his fault. Some were. I think it's similar to what I said yesterday in the fact that I don't think he can fully evaluate it until Devontae and Makai are out there. I think he's hamstrung by some of the guys. It's hard. You asked me yesterday, are they going to bounce back from a passing perspective? And I'm like, probably not. It's hard to, although they seemed a little bit better, but again, you still got Marcus Jones undercutting people, and it's like interception. I think that's because Wicks is your number 1 receiver right now, and he's not equipped to be number 1. And then you got Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, Darius Cooper. So, I mean, if that were the regular season, would you expect, hey, we're going to go nuts in the passing game? I think the same thing is true in practice. So until Devontae and Makai get back, which all indications will be Monday of next week, I don't know how much you can judge the passing offense other than they did a nice job at the end and were able to put together a scoring drive. And a lot of it was Goedert. I think Goedert started it.
That's where I was going next, Goedert.
Yeah, so I think, a lot of times when it comes to those game-winning drives, the most important thing is to get it rolling, get that first play. And I think the first play was to Goedert, I believe. So I think that makes sense because he's your top option right now.
We'll see how much of a use he is this year. I think he's going to have a big year, but I mean, I don't know. He did have the down year in the run game last year. You think that something that needs to get fixed, or in theory, does this offense help him on that areas and more accentuate his talents?
Yeah, I don't know, but I saw Greg Bedard mentioned. I heard him doing it. He's a Patriots reporter, and he was like, so it's interesting to get the version of the other side. And he was, like a lot of people, he's remarking how good the Eagles' run game looked day 1 and how poorly it looked day 2. And he was bringing up when Matt Patricia was running the offense in New England. I didn't know this. I didn't remember it. I probably knew it at the time, which was the curious call. It was sort of like Bill Belichick's Juan Castillo moment. Matt Patricia was running the offense. I don't know if people remember that, but he was running the offense. And they tried to move to a wide zone running scheme like the Eagles are doing right now. And when it doesn't work, it looks like garbage because you have all these open gaps. And that's what it looked like to him. And I go, oh boy. No, I think Mailata kind of explained that a little bit in that they were, to his description, they were put on the boxing gloves. They were just wanted to beat them up, and you got to be more again, disciplined than that. So I don't know if it's going to help. I mean, that's none of us know, but I mean, there are holes to this. Like I think there's it's the nature of, oh, this is great because they're doing it, and they just did it a different way and had one of the greatest rushing offenses literally of all time in 2024. And even before that, from 21 to 24, one of the top 5 rushing offenses in the NFL. So I don't know if this is the be all end all to fixing things. Other than it has shown flashes. But there's a lot of room for ugliness in this as well, which I think people overlook. And Greg brought that up. Like if you don't, it's like anything else. If you don't execute and you're leaving open and you're not hitting your angles, there's even more room for defenders to get into the backfield. So if you have an instinctive Luke Kuechly type, I mean, he'll knife that shit right away.
Yeah, right. Now, I don't know how many Luke Kuechly
yeah,
types there are.
exactly. Well, there aren't. Luckily, there aren't, but you get the point. I mean, there's room to, if you're not hitting your angles, that things could get ugly quickly.
So makes sense. Do you think back to Goedert? Do you think Sean Mannion could unlock a bigger Dallas Goedert season?
Well, he had 11 touchdowns last year. Yeah, it's like funny. I mean, he had a poor blocking season, but he was never more productive from a touchdown standpoint. I mean, by far his career high. So depends what you're grading on. If he stays healthy, which has been an issue, I think his receptions will be up. And part of that is just like he moves up that pecking order we were talking about from 3 to 2. So they should be up. But will he go above 11 touchdowns and 13 if you count the playoffs? That's going to be tough to do. I mean, his previous career high was 5 touchdowns receiving.
He was a red zone. I mean, he had a lot of red zone work last year. And Kevin Patullo, for all the knocks on him, was obviously a successful play calling in the red zone.
Yeah, people forget they had some good things on that offense. So how do you replicate 11 touchdowns? I mean, that was the most in the NFL.
I don't know. Is that, John? Is that and see if you can bridge this comp. Is that like sacks? Like you can have 10 sacks and not be as good of an edge rusher as you were as someone.
Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely.
That's kind of what I'm looking for with Goedert. 11 touchdowns, but can he be a better all-around player this year?
Well,
forget the touchdowns. If he has 6 touchdowns, all right. Who cares?
I don't know. I don't know if he can be a better receiving tight end. I mean, I think he's at his ceiling. Well, yeah, he could be better as a blocker, certainly. I mean, he's already a very good receiving tight end. But, he set career highs in receptions and touchdowns last year. Now, those numbers should be higher because, again, he's bumped up from 3 to 2 in theory. You have an offense that will use the middle of the field more in theory. Where you'd like improvement is, but again, this might be age more than anything else. Early in his career, at one point he led the league in yards per reception for tight ends in 21. So the first year Nick was here. And he's down. So it was 14.8 that year. And it was down to 9.9 last year, which was the first time he was under 10 in his career. So you'd like to see that number go up a little bit. you're not going to get 14 plus, but you'd like to get back in double digits. And with Dallas, the key part is how many games is he going to miss? He's never played 17. Now, a lot of these years, he wouldn't have been playing in week 18 anyway. So he only missed 2 games in 21. He missed 5 in 22. He missed 3 in 23. He missed 7 in 24, and he missed 2 last season. So you want to be in that 2 range. Versus the 7 range, obviously. But so a lot of it depends on, how many games he misses. But boy, I got to tell you, if he's not on the field, they're going to have some issues at tight end, man.
Yeah, they are. Major issues.
Not good. And people are jumping the gun on Eli Stowers, but the reports are not good. That doesn't mean he's a bust. That doesn't mean he can't be a good player, but it does likely mean you're not going to get a lot out of him early on.
I have like a way too early hot take on Stowers, but it's way too early. Like you said, there's no way to tell at this point. But I don't know. I mean, they drafted him and they're like, okay, he's going to get better. He's got to develop as a blocker. So, but he's a good pass catcher, and he looked like crap pass catching. He hasn't done anything pass.
Yeah, well, that's not good. Exactly.
That's right. That's why I'm concerned. I'm like, all right, if you told me, yeah, he looks like a great threat in the air, but he's still struggling with blocking, I'd be like, yeah, that's about what we thought. But he's not. He looked like he couldn't do anything against the threes versus the Ravens. No, it's
I mean, look,
my
guess is his head is swimming, and as he gets more comfortable, the athleticism will start to show up. Hopefully. But again, it's going to take some time, and I know people are not patient. But I mean, they're not going to give up on him. But it's going to be tough when you look at it. I mean, the fact that Vic made some news this week when he called inside linebacker the deepest position on the team, which I don't know if that's his bias towards linebackers. He's this guy coached the Dome Patrol and Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis and Ray Lewis even. He loves linebackers, but they are pretty deep at linebacker as well. But if you say that's your deepest position, what about defensive tackle? What about edge? What about corner? Yada, yada, yada. So I don't know if it's just his proclivity or he really believes that, but he made some news. If you say, tight end is quickly becoming the least amount of depth from my perspective. I mean, Johnny Munt's a deference player. Johnny Munt? This guy's never played more than 450 snaps his entire life. And he's played for a long time now. Good blocker, but he's not going to give you anything in the passing game. And then you have Grant Calcaterra and
did you real quick on Johnny Munt? Did you know that I think Farzy gave us this data on Cilio's show earlier this week? One of Sean Mannion's career completions came to Johnny Munt.
Oh yeah, they played together in Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, one of his career completions, one of a few of them, was 2.
Yeah. Those, it's one of the reasons he's here, I would presume.
He completed 66 passes total in his career. One of them went to our boy Johnny Munt. Gotta love it, Johnny Mac.
I don't know if it's. I look. He's like everybody raves about him because he's a good blocker, and he is. But what I'm concerned about is, you should you should be striving to have somebody push Johnny Munt, not make him a deference player. And right now, and by the way, I think that was the plan. I don't, they signed him to a 1-year veteran minimum deal. It's not like they went out and said, oh, this guy's a big part of the plan. The point is that nobody's pushing him because they're not pushing him. So they said, well, we can't lose this guy. So let's sit him with the key players. Somebody should be out there pushing him. And the best case scenario would have been somebody beat him out. And that ain't happening. So that to me is not a good development, that nobody's pushing Johnny Munt.
How many snaps do you think Stowers will get this year?
If nobody gets hurt, I would say under 300, certainly. I don't see him playing a lot
pick anymore. I mean, that pick to me doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, you're thinking about it in the short term. Long term, it might make all the sense in the world. By the way, Johnny Munt got signed to a 1-year, $1.34 million deal. Only $550,000 of it was guaranteed. And people are like,
well, at least you're gonna get his guaranteed money, or
he already gets his guaranteed.
No, the rest of the money.
Yeah, he's gonna get the
Wait,
rest.
for a guarantee, don't you have to make the roster to get it?
No, guaranteed is guaranteed, right?
Guaranteed is guaranteed. Okay.
Yeah. Now you have agent speak where they turned fully guaranteed, and they guarantees, like on big contracts like Jalen Hurts. The only thing fully guaranteed is the fully guaranteed number, and the other guarantees are roster bonuses as you move forward.
Right.
Now it's very likely that he's going to get them, extremely likely, but they're not fully guaranteed. Anything fully guaranteed up front, you're getting, basically at signing, or even if you're not, sometimes they defer it. Not in the case of a small contract, but so. Yeah, he gets, and he actually got $590 because he got $550 guaranteed and then a $40,000 signing bonus. So that's where you're putting your eggs in that basket. That's
right, Johnny Munt.
That's a weak position.
Here's a great question.
Outside of Dallas Goedert.
Here's a great question and an alternative point of view on it, John. You tell me what you think. Curtis says, Zander, could Munt just be an indication of how much they will run the ball?
Well, yeah, that's why he's here. But they needed a tight end who could block after going through a season where they didn't have one who could block. And that's why he's here. And yeah, he's going to be a big part of it. But you would prefer to develop some people that can do both aspects of the job, and then you become more multiple, and it's more difficult for the defense. The problem is when you have one-dimensional players, you're signaling the smart defenses, this is run, this is pass. And you can switch them up and fool them occasionally, but if you try to do it, like, think about it, how limiting it would be if Dallas Goedert misses those 3 to 7 games, and Johnny Munt is your top tight end in those 3 to 7 games.
Who would be the 3? I guess Stowers, right?
Yeah.
They're going to keep 3, you think?
I don't know why. I think they'll keep 4 because Latu special teams and fullback, and he can do some different things, but they could list him at fullback. I don't know what they're going to do. So that to me is just a listing problem, but I have him keeping 4, which would be Goedert, Munt, Stowers, and Latu. But yeah, Stowers, there's a good chance if it continues going this way over the next 3 weeks that Stowers is a game day inactive, and if that's the case early in the season, Latu will be active because he can do all those different things, and Stowers will be inactive. So that'll have people losing their fucking minds early in the season. Now, obviously, if Dallas got hurt, then you got to ramp it up and get him out there.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I get your answer on Munn. Curtis says, I thought predictable doesn't matter. Just got to impose your will. And my response on that would be, well, you got to have better players, right? I mean, I don't know. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, people. People. Predictable is what I say. That is predictable is, and please listen. Situation. 3rd and 13. You're predictable. 3rd and 3. You can do whatever the fuck you want. That's predictable. Tendencies via personnel can make you predictable as well. So that's the whole point about tight ends. That's why you want tight ends who can be George Kittle. That's the dream. George can be top 5 blocking tight end, top 5 passing. You don't know. Johnny Munt's in the game, you're going to be run heavy. Eli Stowers in the game, you're probably going to be pass heavy. Little tells for the Luke Kuechly's of the world.
And is that where even if they do know it's coming, if you're better than them?
Well, if you execute on any play, doesn't matter. The offense has the advantage over the defense. If they execute perfectly, it's going to be a positive play.
Yeah, well, fair enough. All right, good stuff, Johnny Mac. We'll continue to just a couple other things here on the defensive front. A lot of optimism on those guys, man. They've had a good camp.
There should be, man.
Yeah, man. They're going to be.
And I'd be insulted if I was that defensive tackle room hearing Vic say inside linebacker was the deepest part of the team. Defensive tackle. Defensive tackle.
I don't know. I'm going to side with Vic.
Defensive tackle.
Vic is a reason. Vic has a method for his madness. Maybe he wants to keep those boys hungry on the defensive front.
Maybe. I mean, you got Jalen Carter. That's not depth. So your depth is Moro Ojomo, who might be the best 3rd defensive tackle in football. Certainly pass rushing.
I think he probably is, to be honest with you. 3rd defensive tackle. How many teams have 3 good DTs?
Well, certainly from a pass rushing perspective, he is. Byron Young is your 4, and that guy can play. Ty Robinson is now the light's going off a little bit. He's your 5, and then I even count Uar, but Uar would be your 6. Where what he's talking about now, Trotter, like who's a better backup, Trotter or Ojomo? It might be their 2 best backups on the entire team. So it's legit. Number 4 was Smile Munden. You like Smile as a player better than Byron Young? I don't. Then it would be Chance Campbell, who's been hurt. So it's
you think Vic is just biased to the linebacker spot?
Oh, well, he's definitely biased to linebackers. I mean, the guy loves linebackers. He wrote the foreword to Damo's book on Sam Mills. He loves Sam Mills. He had, one of the great linebacking corps of all time in New Orleans, the Dome Patrol. Before he became a defensive coordinator, he was a linebackers coach. So that was his position of expertise. Patrick Willis, another Hall of Famer, Ray Lewis, Hall of Famer, Navarro Bowman, he talks about a lot. Years from now, well, hopefully years from now, he won't be coaching, but he'll be talking about Zach Bond, I guarantee it. And he does phenomenal things with linebackers. But it's one of the rare instances where I will disagree. I think the edge, they might be deeper because they added Ebiketie and Epinesa. But
yeah, they got 5 dudes too.
Yeah.
if Grenard's healthy.
Yep.
Phew, man, that front seven is going to be crazy good, John.
I think the corners are deep, but when Jones gets back, he's a good player too.
There's no weakness. I mean, and by the way, I meant to talk about him. Sounds like Michael Carter had another good day of camp yesterday.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Pass breakups.
He should be in the conversation. I got to do that where I don't like lists, but best backups on the Eagles. And right there, that might be the top 3. And I don't consider there's more than 11. So I don't consider their base package on offense is still 11 personnel. So I consider the top 3 receivers starters. And 12 personnel so the top 2 tight ends are starters. And I would use the 50 front, so I would consider Morrow a starter. So I'm talking about the true backups. And that to me would start with Trotter probably and Michael Carter.
I think he's changed the perception on that safety problem too. But coming into the summer, we all were like, "Yeah, safety's weak. Safety's weak." I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's great. The like you said, you don't have the ace, but I don't know. I mean, you got 3 solid players. Makuba sounds like he's having a good camp too, so that's good.
Yeah, I think Makuba obviously has a pretty significant upside, so that's part. Vic kind of gets frustrated with him. Still, I think too many mental errors, but hopefully that continues and he gets better and better and better. I don't like Epps as the other starter. I know a lot of people disagree with me because he's part of the Super Bowl team in 2022. The guy runs a 4.6 maybe, if you're lucky. You're going to get caught, with guys running by you. Now, the give and take of that is, how long can you stand in the pocket waiting for somebody to run by Marcus Epps with that pass rush? So, the pass rush is going to make up for a lot of it. But I'm very, very convinced that Howie knows he needs to get better at safety.
You think he'll make a move?
Well, yeah, I say he's going to make a move. It depends. Again, it depends on.
I think he could stand pat. I can see it.
Well, I'm saying in general, he's going to make a move. It's a two-way street. Can you get better? He'll try to get better. Yes, he'll try. Doesn't mean he can. Doesn't mean you can't just snap your fingers and get what you want. But I think he's been trying to get better this whole time. So we'll see if he can pull something off. There's so many things that you hear about after the fact. This year, I never knew they went after Honey Badger so hardly. I've never heard that before. And that was the last time they went through training camp and we're all like, really? These are going to be the safeties? And all of a sudden, here comes CJ at the trade deadline. They were trying to, the whole time they were trying to get better. They couldn't do it until that moment. They've been trying to get better, trust me. But like I said, you can't just snap your fingers.
Fair enough. All right, everybody. Good 2 joint practices. John, how would you recap the 2 joint practices? Seemingly a success, you say? I mean, you played 2 good teams.
I think it was better than people portrayed it on day 1 and not quite as good as day 2. So I think, it was, I'm sure it was productive. And we'll see if they can get better. I think they'll get better with Devontae Smith and Makai Lemon on the field. I think the passing game.
I think they'll get better with Devontae Smith on the field. It's yet to be seen on Makai Lemon.
Well, I agree. It's unproven, but at least the upside is there. So yeah, he's got to perform.
What'd you make of AJ cooking them 2 days straight? Best player on the field, people wrote.
Doesn't surprise me. He was probably motivated to do it. A lot of these, he beat Quignon, blah, blah, blah. Again, one-on-ones are heavily weighted towards the offense. You should beat them. The concern is when Eli Stowers can't win in one-on-ones, you should win in one-on-ones, especially if you're a high-level receiver like A.J. Brown. So I don't worry about that. Yeah, I'm not surprised he had a big couple of practices. I wouldn't be sounding the alarm bells over that. He's a good player. People forget. They want to convince themselves he wasn't. Fucking dominant player. Tough to stop.
I don't think I need to do any convincing. I mean, he was. I talk to you every year during training camp. He was the best player in Eagles camp every summer until he left.
It's the best player the Eagles had during their greatest stretch in the modern era. The best pure football player. We did it every year. He won it twice. Every other year, he was second or third. Overall, if you want to grade the 4 years he was here, he was the best pure football player the Eagles had. Sorry, that upsets people. That's what he was.
Do you think he's the best Eagles receiver of all time?
Well, longevity comes into that. I mean, that's where guys in the Hall of Fame and Tommy McDonald, Harold Carmichael. People don't want to go back that far. He won't be because he doesn't have the longevity. But for a 4-year span, yeah, they've never had higher level of play at the wide receiver position over a 4-year span.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, people could say T.O. if you want to strip it down to 1 year. I argue his best year was better than T.O.'s year.
Was T.O. was probably the most talented, though.
From a perception standpoint.
Really? You think it's just perception on T.O.? I mean, I know you're not the biggest T.O. guy because of the drops.
Like I said, I mean, look, the guy was
got drops too.
And not even close.
Like
not even close. That's what I mean. I never the comparison.
So at their very best, forget the team, forget everything else. At their very best, A.J. Brown or T.O.?
Well, T.O.'s more gifted, but the comparison I don't like, I've never liked is T.O. versus Randy, partially because I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, that's not even close. And for some reason, it's always been a debate with people. And most people ultimately lean towards Randy Moss, but way too many. And certainly in Philadelphia, because he was here for 10 minutes, thinks he was better. That's the comp that bothers me. Ultimately, yeah, I think he's a little bit overrated. He's still a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's not. He is. But if you look at the top tier guys, the Rice would be number 1 by far. Randy would be number 2 by far. But even the other Hall of Fame receivers, the drops fucking bother me. They bother me. You don't see that with other Hall of Fame receivers. You don't see it. They bother me. Like, that's a big fucking thing.
So at their peak, who'd you take? T.O. or AJ?
Me
you got one game, John. You got to win one ball game. You got one receiver. You need them, and they're both in their peak.
Randy Moss.
No, that's not the fucking question, J Mac.
I would rather have a happy and healthy AJ Brown than T.O.
Wow. Really?
So if you're talking about AJ in 22, I'd rather have AJ in 22 and 23 than, and one of the reasons why, T.O. was a headache too.
They're all headaches.
Yeah, they're all headaches to a certain level. So I don't. So people say, no, well, like T.O. wasn't a fucking headache. It's bizarre to me. The revisionist history is bizarre to me. I think as you get off of it, in 10 years, I think people that still like the Eagles and follow the Eagles, I think they'll realize how good he was. I think. Like I said at the start of the show, I hope he and Jalen get to a point where they realize what they accomplished together.
I think they will get to that.
And that's another.
I don't know if AJ's perceived, and
now I wasn't
here.
I wasn't here for that Eagles team, but I know. But I've seen some pretty good teams.
Where were you at that time? Were you covering Were you covering the Vikings, or were you covering basketball?
I was still covering the Vikings at that time. So I've seen Randy at his height, and I've seen a 15-1 team, which was phenomenal, a phenomenal team. And I said all the way up to 2022. That was the best team I've ever seen in person. And I said, this team is better than I remember having the argument with Jody because they didn't win. So Jody said the 2017 Eagles team was better. And I said, no, they weren't. No. The 22 team was the best team I ever saw. And I still think it's the best team I ever saw. I think it's better than the 2024 team. 2024 team was really fucking good, though, as well. But I think the 2022 team is the best team I've ever covered. And I know people will revision and say that team was better. And I'm like, I doubt it. And, that's about far more than just the receivers. That's about everything. But AJ was a big fucking part of that, of how good that team was.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I don't know that, and I'm not the perfect person to talk on this because I haven't watched them all as much as I've watched AJ, but AJ, as much as I like AJ, and I think some fans are stupid about him because they do act like he wasn't this great player now that he left. He obviously was a great player. I never thought he reached the level of those guys in terms of, like I said yesterday, I don't think AJ is a Hall of Fame player. And that's not that he's not a Hall of Fame talent, but I don't think his career has gone the way of a Hall of Fame player. T.O. is. Nobody was questioning that. You brought up Randy. You brought up these other. Nobody's questioning any of those guys going to the Hall of Fame. You might have a different flavor that you prefer. I don't know that AJ ever entered that conversation. He's not even the best or close to the best in his era. I mean, Jefferson and Chase are going to get that.
That's one of the things that drives AJ. I mean, AJ, was drafted into a situation where Derrick Henry was there. And then he came here and he had the 2 years where he was off the charts, and then they got Saquon. And, there's not too if you go through the other great receivers, you're not going to see running backs like that. You're just not. You'll see a bunch of good ones. But I mean, that's for a receiver, that's kind of bad luck in a weird way. As far as numbers, when you're talking about, and unfortunately, numbers drive Hall of Fame, especially at receiver. So, I mean, that's definitely certainly something that AJ has looked at. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he's closer to being a Hall of Famer than you think he is. But
we had Armando Salguero on yesterday, who is a Hall of Fame selector. He said he's definitely talented enough for the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
the numbers,
God, yeah. I mean, there's no question about that. Gift wise, yeah. But yeah, he's got to give. Like I said, if he gets 2 more All Pros in New England and another Super Bowl, he's a no doubt about it Hall of Famer. Now that's very difficult to do. But
what about 2 more All Pros and no Super Bowl?
then they'll probably, in that situation, that'll be 5 All Pros. He'll be borderline, I would say.
Because
That's
there
a
is the
lot.
big logjam at receiver right now, isn't there? And then I mentioned the guys
Yeah,
that
but
I
a
think
bunch
are
of those guys don't even fucking belong in the conversation. They don't have 5 All Pros. They just have numbers. They're compilers. Like people get obsessed with those numbers.
Yeah, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith.
Yeah, he's better than. Give me those numbers. Give me those names.
Torrey Holt.
Torrey was good.
He has over 13,000 receiving yards.
He's
Reggie Wayne, multi-time finalist, 8,000-yard seasons in a ring with the Colts. I don't have their full numbers.
Peyton Manning, by the way.
Yeah, and then Steve Smith.
Steve Smith, very unique player. They're all great players. They're all certainly worthy of Hall of Fame.
Like they all had to wait because what's his name just got in. Larry. Shit, what's his name? I'm blanking on his damn name right now. Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah. Well, Larry's a no-brainer.
Much. I mean, he got in this year. I think he was the first ballot.
Yeah, he's first ballot. Yeah. He's definitely not Larry Fitzgerald. None of those guys are Larry Fitzgerald. So, I mean, look, he's still got to do more, but he certainly will be in the conversation. And I'm trying to look where Pro Football.
Because then you're going to have guys like Devontae Adams coming up. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Mike Evans, I don't know if he's probably going to be a logjam guy. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
know. I'm just trying to see, like, you know what I mean. And then you have the
I don't think
guys
it's. I don't think it's about first ballot. Like he's not going to be a first ballot guy, but I mean, he's definitely got to do more. But like I said, if he gets to those, like right now, if you look at his Hall of Fame monitor, it's higher than Justin Jefferson on Pro Football Reference.
Do they do a Hall of Fame monitor? I didn't know they did that. Yeah. That's pretty cool. What is that, Pro Football Reference?
That's about longevity. I mean, they're both not near because they don't have the longevity yet. But if they continue going at their, like if Jefferson continues another 5 years at his pace, he's a no-brainer. First ballot.
Well, he better get a better quarterback.
Well, that comes
out a little more.
But the when you talk about the best receivers of all time, according to Pro Football Reference, so take it as you will. Jerry Rice 1, Randy Moss 2, Marvin Harrison 3, Larry Fitzgerald 4, T.O.'s 5, Steve Largent 6, Lofton 7, Lance Allworth 8, Chris Carter 9, Tim Brown 10. Those are your top 10 receivers of all time. And AJ's got a long way to go. He's got so does Jefferson. But
how many Pro Bowls does AJ have? Or not Pro Bowls, all pros?
3. Second
no
team.
First team though, right? Yeah.
No. But second team counts. They count them. Those are very valuable. And he got them all in Philadelphia, by the way. He was a 3-time All-Pro in Philadelphia. I always like looking at the as we go into this tangent, the best 10 quarterbacks of all time. Tom Brady 1, Peyton Manning 2, Aaron Rodgers 3, Brett Favre 4, Johnny Unitas 5, Joe Montana 6, Drew Brees 7, John Elway 9, Dan Marino 10. That's why you should listen to me, man. Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. How long have I been telling people? Your top 10 running backs: Walter Payton 1, Jim Brown 2, Barry Sanders 3, Emmitt Smith 4, LaDainian 5, OJ 6.
I love LaDainian Tomlinson.
Eric Dickerson, 7. Adrian Peterson, who will be a first ballot next year, I believe. 8.
Is that next year for AP?
I believe so. Marshall Falk, 9. Former Eagle for 10 seconds, Frank Gore, number 10. And then we'll do tight ends and wrap it up. Tight ends, Tony Gonzalez, 1. Kelsey, 2. Gronk, 3. Shannon Sharp, 4. Gates, 5. Dave Casper, 6. Jason Witten, 7. Kellen Winslow, my personal favorite, 8. Ozzie Newsome, 9. Jackie Smith, 10 for old school fans. There you go. There you have it. Those are your skill position people.
Yeah, Saquon's far off right now in terms of running backs.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early. But
Shady McCoy's up there. I wonder if Shady gets in. I doubt it.
He's
right?
borderline. He's borderline, but I think he may get in because who's the Jets back that got in? Curtis Martin. He's right in that level. And if Curtis Martin got in, and he did, Shady's got a shot. I think he's got a legit shot.
We'll see.
I wish they would. They don't, but I wish they could give more weight to returners, because I think if you add the return aspect into his career as a running back, I think Darren Sproles deserves recognition, or at least, deserves to be in the conversation, but they just don't think that way.
Yeah, and then on tight end, you mentioned you got Kelsey and Gronk coming up. Obviously, Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gates, Casper, Gonzalez are all in. Jason Witten, you think Jason Witten will make it?
No, I said he's graded as top 10 by Pro Football References.
Yeah, no, he is. I was asking if you think he'll make it. They have this Hall of Fame monitor, I guess, and there's the average tight end score is 99. He's at 105, so he's above it.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think he should be talked about. Yeah, and ultimately his numbers are big enough, but I think he's a guy who it'll take a little while. But I think ultimately he'll get in.
One more I think we should do is tackle. Anthony Munoz, Forrest Gregg, Jim Parker, Willie Rofe, Joe Thomas, Ron Yeri, Gary Zimmerman, Bob Brown, Jonathan Ogden, Ron Mix. These are all Hall of Famers. Jim Tryer's not in. Jason Peters looks like the next guy, John, who would get in there. Tony Baselli got in, and Peters I think, did more than him. Lane's still down a little bit.
Lane's lower than somebody brought that up to me when we were discussing Kelsey and who was better, and I think Lane was just a better player for the Eagles. I mean, they're both great. They're both Hall of Famers in my mind. You know what hurts Lane? Two things. Early in his career, the shift didn't come. Like now, nobody gives a shit between right tackle and left tackle. But that's recent. And for years, they would put all left tackles in the Pro Bowl and all left tackles on the All-Pro team. They didn't, now, when I had my vote, now we're told to put a left tackle and a right tackle. They never used to do that, which I didn't think was fair. And Lane's talked about it a lot over the years. So basically the whole first half of his career, he was never considered much for any of that, even though he's one of the best tackles. I think ultimately, he's up to 5 now. I think ultimately
he's gonna get in. People
will recognize, and once they start, one of the things and when you talk about Armando, and I've talked to these guys a lot over the years, the really good ones try to talk to their peers on to try to grade the pay. And when they talk to Lane Johnson's peers, I think it'll clarify to them, and he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that looks. All right, good stuff there. Good little Hall of Fame talk. Interesting stuff with what AJ could do. John, you think Antonio Brown will get into the Hall of Fame? Or will they avoid him because of
that's a good question. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame player, but
Definitely,
he's a Hall of Fame idiot as well. So,
yeah, he is.
That will certainly affect him. But he's definitely a Hall of Fame player. He was a great receiver before he went off the rails.
We'll see if he gets in. All right, good stuff there. Let's get to some super chats here. Back to the birds. Martine checks in. What's up, man? Martine says this. As in what they are aiming for, isn't Saquon and the Mannion offense going to be more like Josh Jacobs in the 24-25 Packer offense rather than McCaffrey?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, much. Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have the receiving skills to be what I think people think he could be. And I don't know how long his career is going to have to go before people recognize it, but yeah, Jacobs is similar in that obviously he's a very good running back. I think Saquon's a better runner, but as receivers, they're both good, not great, to say the least. I mean, above average is how I would describe them both. So
here's Brando Shreds. What's up, Brando? $10. Thanks for the super chat. Brando says this. Patullo did give us the best offense in regards to first 15 plays in years. They almost always scored on opening drives. Does this new scheme help with the in-game adjustment, or is it just play calling?
Well, it's definitely not play calling. Anybody's listening to me. Yeah, I'm not putting that on play calling. Most people are better, with the openers or scripted plays because, they practice them. They get them repped up well. And, if you're a good team, you're going to be pretty tight with that kind of stuff. And usually when things do go off the rails, it's because of, lack of execution or penalties or things of that nature. But as far as the redundancy, I mean, there's a certain amount of redundancy in the modern NFL. That's just the way it is because the offenses have become so restricted from what they once were as far as the playbook. So you're going to have redundancies. I don't know if that's going to be better because I do see a lot of redundancies in this offense in practice, at least. They're going to try bootlegs that might work early that probably aren't going to work in the second half if they go back to them. But as far as like a magic bullet to fix it, that's about the boring stuff that people don't like to hear about. That's about execution and technique and fundamentals. When you're talking about scheming or play calling, again, it becomes the worse you are, the more important it becomes. Like if you got a bad team, you gotta come up with some shit. You gotta Appalachian State some people. I was just talking about.
Yeah.
You gotta come up with some shit. The better you are, I always bring up the Jimmy Johnson Cowboys. Yeah. Just fucking yell it from a bullhorn.
Right.
We're gonna run duo. Stop it. Go stop it.
Predictability goes out the window there. All right, Johnny Mac. Here's Prince. What's up, Prince? He says this. J-Mac, can you give us your top 10 improvements this offseason for the team and your top 10 concerns going into the season? Hit the like
Good
button.
God, that'd take 3 hours. But top 10?
Give me like top 5.
Well, I just talked about one of them, redundancy. I think this is going to be a very redundant offense.
Start with the improvements.
Um,
I don't even know if you could come up with 10. 3 hours might not be enough. I've talked to you for 60 hours in the last month, and I don't think you've given me 10
no,
improvements.
that's not true. I'm very high on the defense. I think that this is the most talented defense. I think they've upgraded
10
the talent.
improvements is a lot, John.
No, that's a lot. The talent on the defense has never been better because Jihad is more gifted than N'Kobe. Bernard's more gifted than what they've had. Reek's more gifted than what they've had. So it's the most talented defense in the Vic era, and that's saying something. So I think that's number one. Number two, I do think the running game is going to be significantly better. I think it has more to do with the health of Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. I don't know if Landon's ever going to be what he once was, but he's a hell of a lot better than he was last year from a physical standpoint. I think Steen's only getting better. Saquon's gotten an opportunity to rest and rejuvenate after that 2024 season when they ran him into the ground. So I think the running game's going to be better. There's something, maybe to the idea that spreading the football around could be better. So we'll say, Makai Lemon's got to be involved with that. We'll see if they can get there, but that part of the mentality I like. I think there's going to be more pistol than advertised to at least sort of keep some of Jalen Hurts' dual threat ability in the offense. I think that's a positive. And I got to come up with one more to get the 5 on offense. I like the idea of the different personnel groupings. They're going to have more personnel groupings to try to, make it more difficult for the defense. So I like that part of it. That's 5. There you go. Oof, it's harder than I thought. Defense, it's easy. Defense, it's easy. Jalen Carter's looks invested. He's happy. He's healthy. Looks like he's going to have a monster season. I think Moro Joma is going to have a monster season because he's on the Milton Williams path, but you got to finish it. And so he's motivated. I think Reek, it's not going to be as good as people think, but they've got such high expectations, but he's significantly better than Adoree Jackson. I think the depth, like I talked about, whether you consider Moro a starter or not, if you don't, they might have the best third defensive tackle. I think Trotter's a starting linebacker in this league, not in Philadelphia. I think Michael Carter's a really good player. So I think the depth, I think Vic Fangio remains the best defensive mind in football. It's all good on defense, practically. All good. Defense, you gotta uncover some rocks to get the good stuff. But and it'll be a work in progress, and there'll be a lot of growing pains. But the running game should be better, and if the running game's better, the passing game will be better because you'll be in more manageable situations. The red zone probably won't be as good, but that's tough. It probably wouldn't have been good if they, that's just regression to the mean.
Right.
If they brought Kevin back and had patience, which is not allowed in Philadelphia, it wouldn't have been as good. So I don't hold that against them. But there's some of them.
Good stuff. All right, John. All right, Prince. Good super chat. The improvements and the concerns going into the year. I think we all have talked about those concerns a long time this offseason. We appreciate you doing that here, Prince. Here's Skywalk. What's up, Skywalk? Hey, John and Zander, I'm excited for the season and congrats on your wedding. I've been away for a little. Skywalk, good to have you back. Thank you, man, for the congrats. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. And yeah, congrats again to Zander. Married life. How's married life treating you?
Married life's treating me good. Look, we got a baby on the way. John told you
Nice.
that. Right? We got the baby on the way. So baby will be here after the season. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing to step in the covenant. Yeah, that's where I was going. I was trying to remember what he said.
Beautiful thing to step in the covenant. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'm aging quick. I mean, I had like a couple things to build, and I had to paint my office. I painted my office this week. Yeah, I woke up. I felt like a ton of bricks hit me. I'm like, what the hell? I just painted the room and built a couple pieces of furniture. I mean, I'm sore. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. I'm actually downsizing, so because I'm getting too old to do shit like that. So that's what you do. You downsize, go to over 55 and sit back.
Yeah,
sit somebody else
sit
do
back
it.
and relax. Yeah.
But you got to get there. That's not relaxing.
TaskRabbit?
It's not relaxing getting there.
You got to use like TaskRabbit. You ever seen that?
No.
My mom uses that. She's like, let's say you buy like a piece of IKEA furniture.
Yeah.
So, and you can just go on TaskRabbit and you can pay someone like $80 and they'll come over and build it.
All right. I learned something, man.
What's the other one? TaskRabbit and
I appreciate. Well, I've learned about Lug. Does anybody have? I need some recommendations on Lug, which is like sort of a moving thing where you don't have to. Obviously, actual movers, because I'm going a very small distance, but they'll still gouge you for like thousands of dollars. Where if you can get. I've heard about this Lug thing where it's basically like the Uber of moving, but I don't know if it's trustworthy. Like, are you going to trust people? I don't know. But I got to write that down. What is it?
Thumbtack and TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit and Thumbtack's the other one. That's my sister-in-law uses Thumbtack. My brother's a working man in New York. She's constantly buying and building shit. She's got people over there. My brother's the same way you are. He's like, who the fuck are these people coming to my house? That's
I'm writing it down. Thumbtack.
Yeah, my mom does it all the time. She's like, yeah, I got a TaskRabbit coming over, and I'm like, what'd you buy?
I got a TaskRabbit. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's the thing. You really you got to. It's harder to trust people nowadays, but.
I think there's a review system now. You know what I mean? Like you could see verified guys who are reviews. Yeah. They got reviews and stuff like that. So I mean, I think there's always some risk, but yeah, we got risk walking out. There might be just as much risk if you build. You know what I mean? Of
I'll kill myself. So that's a risk. That's a risk. So if somebody gets the job done a little bit quicker, I guess some people will be happy by that.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, good stuff, everybody. Appreciate all you guys being here as we look to close out the Football Friday. John, game tomorrow. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of anything tomorrow, do you?
No, God, no. Well, I mean, the Tanner stuff is going to be interesting. The backup quarterback is going to be interesting. If they're true to their plan, they've been trying to make it as even. I would think Tanner would get the start. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't get the start, I mean, Andy's the backup quarterback. But I think they'll go through the hoops and give Tanner the start. And obviously he's got to play better. No ifs, ands, or buts with that one. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting, the backup quarterback. Maybe not to some people, but you need a backup quarterback.
Tanner, come on, Tanner. What happened to Tanner McKee? Guy fell off the face of the earth. Is this on Sean Mannion? Does he have anything to do with this Tanner McKee drop off, John? Or is it Nick?
I don't think it has.
Spooked him into being risk averse, and now he can't be. Now he's afraid to throw the ball.
I just think I think maybe you got to go above them both. I think you might have to go organizationally. they talked all this about belief in Tanner as the backup quarterback, and then all of a sudden they're trading for Andy Dalton. I think that shook him. I I don't think it has anything to do with Sean. If anything, Sean understands backup quarterbacks better than anybody. All the guy did for a decade. And Nick, Howie's in charge of the roster. Yeah, Howie's in charge of trading for Andy Dalton. That was a curious trade when they made it. And the only way it's not a curious trade now, in hindsight, is if they never believed in Tanner McKee to begin with. And they sure acted like they did. But, I mean, it's possible they just never believed in him. And they wanted to get better.
Right.
But
you think he has the most to gain or lose tomorrow in the game?
Tanner? Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Who else would you put in that conversation?
Well, after hearing Vic this week, Kelee Ringo, after hearing Vic this week, that was a great quote. I got to pull up that quote. Try to find it as we. But something about he's been it's been which it has. Let's see if I can find it. Ringo. A lot of people haven't. But they've had so many injuries at corner as well. So guys like Jacorian Bennett, Mac McWilliams was back, so that was a little bit of a surprise. Because those are the guys in theory he would be competing with for the final cornerback slot, and his advantage is special teams, but I don't know if they're just going to keep him because he's good on special teams. What if they want to? I brought up JT Gray in the past. You probably can't keep both of them. So here, finally got it. He's been everybody's pinata doll for a while on Kelee Ringo. I kind of sense he would be coming, meaning improving. We'll see how he does these next couple practices. I think somebody asked a question about these 2 days. I think these 2 days are for him are big, and that'll include he'll obviously play in the preseason game. So clearly he's a bubble player. So I think it's big for him. If you want to look at really go deeper, I think you look at the undrafted guys, Max Pulley and Goosh. Plus, Cole Wisniewski's finally back on the field. There's an opportunity to make that fourth safety spot. You'd really have to beat out Andre Sam, so you could probably put him in the conversation as well. But he would be the incumbent you're trying to upset, so to speak, and I would think they would want a younger guy. So Cole would be, as the draft pick, have the advantage. But I think Max Pulley's been the best. I haven't been that impressed with Goosh other than his nickname.
Good nicknames. I like Pulley. Maximus Pulley. It's a good name.
Yeah, it's a good name. He's looked the best. But, I mean, Cole hasn't been out there. So maybe he can, because the season starts, so you got 3 weeks, man. Still got 3 weeks, unfortunately. Got to get to this bad boy.
We'll see, Johnny Matt. All right, tomorrow receivers too, John. I think they got to have a big day tomorrow. All right, I need a little more from Cooper. I need a little more from Elijah Moore. I think these guys got to step up tomorrow. Now that's going to obviously rely partly.
Yeah, I mean Cooper. Yeah, he did a bad job in Baltimore. He's got to definitely bounce back in the live environment. So yeah, there's some players to keep an eye on.
And then I guess Stowers, like, can we see a little something from him? Is it, should we expect something from him? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's going to be here, so from that standpoint, it doesn't matter. I don't put him in that category because he's not a bubble player. If you want him to play, yeah, he's got to ramp it up really quickly. But I'm already on that he's probably not going to play early in the season. So I mean, to me, he's more of a time-based prospect. So if you want that week one enjoyment, I don't think you're going to get it with Eli Stowers.
No,
me
neither.
You're going to get it.
You expecting to see anything from anybody on the defensive front over on the other side of the ball? I mean, I guess Uwar is obviously the name that people love to watch, but I mean, you're not going to see much probably from him. Maybe a little more.
I think Ty. You want to see Ty keep
true.
it going. You want to see Ty keep it going. You want to see Ebiketie and Epinesa. I think will have to play again, just from the nature of somebody's got to be out there. So, but those guys are. Ebiketie and Epinesa are probably locked in, especially with Grenard being iffy. And then you have Ty Robinson, who's more of a bubble player because you have to worry about keeping 6 defensive tackles if they're going to keep Uwar Bernard. I can't imagine they're going to give up on Uwar this quickly. Like, why draft him? If you don't have the mentality of
they're not, I think you're right. They're not going to give up on him.
Yeah. Now Wiru, you can get through waivers and go about it with the practice squad and put him with the exemption.
What's the trick they normally use, John? They'll just put him on IR, make up a phantom injury.
Well, the problem with that with those guys, that's easy to do with like a Cole Wisniewski, like who's missed. You could say, well, he aggravated the hamstring. We put him on IR. But the problem is if you do that before the cut to 53, they're out for the season. The problem with being out for the season with young players is they don't get to practice the entire season. So you're kind of...
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? They need that time to develop.
Yeah. So even if they're on the scout team and then you do developmental periods afterwards, not a lot of time, but there's time. Whereas if they're on IR, they're just rehabbing. They're just running and lifting weights and things like that. They can't really do any football activity. So it kind of defeats the purpose with developmental players like Uwar and Josh who need reps. Now, Wisniewski's played a lot of football. You could probably get away and say, just go work on your body and get healthy for next year. You could probably do it more, but you really don't want to do it with young players if you don't have to, because they can't practice.
Fair enough. All right, good stuff there on the defensive side of the ball. And then you mentioned Kelee. I'm actually a little bit intrigued by that too now, the Kelee Ringo thing. How old is Ringo? Because he was so young.
He's very young. He's still
we talk about Darius Cooper. How old do people think Darius Cooper is? I'm sure you probably know, John, but Kelee Ringo is 24. He's been in the league for what, 3-4 years almost?
He was the youngest player in the league when he got drafted. So there's a lot of guys,
Yeah, Cooper's 24 too. I thought he was a little older.
But he's got 3 years in the league at 24. So he's got plenty of tread left on the tire. I mean, if the Eagles do try to trade him or cut him, obviously, I mean, there's going to be a team that jumps on him quickly. Like he's one of those guys. Like a couple of years ago, Carolina was really having issues at the cornerback spot, and they claimed like 3 different corners. Like if I forget who number 1 on the waiver, who was the worst team in the league last year?
Jets, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't think that. I forget whose number. I would bet you that Kelee
Raiders, right? Was it Raiders?
Raiders. Definitely Raiders. They got a bunch of ex-Eagles guys. I guarantee he's claimed top 5 on waivers. One of the top 5 teams, maybe number 1. Like he's not getting very far if you cut him, because his physical gifts are outrageous. Not quite Reek Woolen, but he's a long guy too. He's not 6'4", but he's 6'2". He doesn't have a 6'8" wingspan, but there aren't many 6'2" corners. And he runs a sub 4.3. I mean, he's going to get another chance. Ran a 4.36 actually, but so I mean, I'm keeping him if I'm the Eagles. I realize it hasn't worked out, but he's too good on special teams. He's got 1 more year. Why not utilize it? Now, for him, to be honest, it would be better for him to get probably a fresh start, to be honest. But, I mean, you're trying to win for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's going to help you on game day. Keeping Mac McWilliams isn't going to help you on game day. Keeping Jacorian Bennett isn't going to help you on game day because they're not good special teams players, or they haven't been. So that's kind of how I would frame it. But I try to trade if I am getting, but you have to get rid of one of them minimum. I'm trying to trade, I'm trying to get something back, but people will know you're trying to trade them too. And if you don't, you're going to have to cut them. So it's not as easy as just doing it. And that's why you should try to get it done before the cut.
Right.
You know, say, well, you know, and try to convince somebody to give you something.
All right. We'll get the game tomorrow. What time is that thing, John? 7 at night again?
Yeah, 7 at night. Oh my God. 7 at night. I know you'll be thrilled as I sit down there waiting for Tanner McKee to speak. 7 o'clock. Night
You're not
games.
going. You're not going to the game, are you?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'm already thinking about Cincinnati. Is it Cincinnati, the final preseason game? I already have that in my head.
Yeah.
I want to get through these preseason games so quickly.
No, you won't.
Yeah, it'll be quicker for you this week.
Yeah,
you'll enjoy it this week. The next week, I'm already thinking about that week.
Eagles preseason schedule. Yeah, that's that. Am I wrong to say, like, as the preseason goes, like,
yeah,
it's even progressively like less players play. Like, you might not even see freaking Ty Robinson in preseason game number 3.
Well, I think I and that's why
Friday night at 8 p.m.
Oh, 8?
8.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, that's gonna be a nightmare. Well, you know, the good thing is it'll be quicker than usual because people want to get out. But it's still a while, and it's frustrating. That's why, you know, put these joint practices on. Kill the preseason. Just kill it.
The televised joint practices was a great idea by you.
Yeah,
I guess would the players fight that? Like, would they not want to show practices?
Well, no, they won't, because again, my plan is to monetize it, and you share that revenue with the players. They will be all on board.
Everyone wins.
Yeah, they will be all on board.
And you get rid of preseason to do it. Or
I am shocked that the NFL hasn't done it already, because I do think there would be a market for it. Now, I could be wrong. I doubt it, and they could have already looked at it. The only thing I can think of is they bundle these preseason games with regular season games when it comes to tickets and all the accoutrements when it comes to dates and stadiums and the dress up, and you got to pay for parking and you got to pay for concessions. Regular season price, they don't give you a break. So, yeah, it's not great.
Why are they holding on to the preseason games, the 3? Because I know they talked about going lower. They went from 4 to 3. It used to be 4.
Well, they're holding it to get to 18 games, and then they'll go to 2.
You think 18 games is a good idea?
No. I don't think 17 was a good idea. I certainly don't think 18. Look, I think the scarcity of the NFL is the top driver of the popularity of the league. The scarcity of it. And the less scarce you make it, you're chopping away at that piece of wood.
Still, the degree of scarcity is still so great, even with 17 or 18.
Yeah, because it is. It's only incremental. It's like, but a slow drip.
160, 164,
162,
162. Golly.
But even a slow drip of water will erode the rock eventually. And every little piece makes it a little less special. Plus, you're also talking about the health of the players, which is a frustrating topic for me because people don't really care, but pretend they care. So, you can't say, similar to the World Cup stuff, where, the World Cup comes and, you put in grass fields. Oh, it's too expensive to put in grass. And you do it for the World Cup to get the World Cup, and then you rip it out for the NFL. And I forget, somebody already got hurt at MetLife Stadium. I forget which game, but somebody had a season-ending injury on that bullshit turf that they always talk about. And weeks ago, that's where the World Cup final was, but they had to rip it out. Such a dumb league at some points.
Yeah, it is. All right, good stuff. And your super chats, we got them all. All right, Johnny Mac, getting closer here to this preseason game. Big week of joint practices, though, and I think it was a successful week of practice for the Eagles in terms of you play versus a good opponent, you play versus a good team. Drake May, he looks like he's going to be a freaking good player. He was already a good player last year.
I think he already was,
yeah,
he's going to get
it was better. Good week for the Eagles to battle it out with a good football team.
Yeah, Drake May is definitely going to get better and better. But they're a team that I think is going to be perceived as worse, but getting better. And by that, I mean they made the run to the Super Bowl, so people expect, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, right. So if they don't reach the Super Bowl, everyone's like, oh, they got worse, but they're actually probably just as good or a better football team.
Yeah, I think that's their lot in life, and the Eagles are trying to look. I think the biggest difference between the Eagles is the past couple years, at least, that people perceive them to be the most talented team in football. They're still near the top, but they're no longer. There's clearly the Rams and Seattle probably, and trying to think of anybody on the AFC. I don't know if anybody on the AFC, but they're in the conversation. But the Rams are clearly the most talented. The Rams have become the Eagles. They are clearly the most talented team in the NFL. Probably Seattle number 2.
You still like Seattle at that high?
They're loaded. They won the Super Bowl. They should be.
Yeah, I know they won the Super Bowl, but like you always say, it doesn't always mean you're the best team. Best team doesn't always win the Super Bowl.
Nope. A lot of times they don't win the Super Bowl. best indication of that was
The Rams were a
overall
better team last year.
when the
by way.
Giants upset the greatest team of all time, at least in
Yeah.
the modern era. That was
Yeah, what were the Giants?
one.
10-7 or 10-6?
Number one. And locally, I mean, the Chiefs beat the Eagles in 57, but the Eagles were the better team. But they didn't win the game. And I still say that's the best Eagles team I've covered. But they didn't win.
Fair enough. All right, good stuff there. So I do wonder what the Patriots are going to look like this year. That would be a hell of a Super Bowl, wouldn't it, John? If the Eagles and the Patriots faced off in the Super Bowl, the Patriots are going to have that tough schedule. Though.
That's kind of. I mean, look, I know we're an Eagles show, but we really want to see Eagles. I'd rather see Eagles somebody else, man. I don't want to see Eagles Patriots. I don't want to see Eagles Patriots or Eagles Chiefs. I don't want. Give me something.
Oh, you're saying because of the two Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Give me something else. Give me Eagles Broncos. Give me Eagles Ravens. That's what I want.
Eagles Patriots. It's so
Eagles,
different. It's like Eagles Patriots, like with Belichick and Brady. That was so different. Completely different regimes. It's like different teams.
I don't know. I want to see something.
And
different.
the AJ factor. I mean, come on, that's a hell of a story.
That's true. I wasn't thinking about the AJ, but I don't want that story because it's all nonsense. So
but that's what we do, John. We talk sports.
Eagles,
I mean, that's the story.
Yeah, but that's not sports. That's entertainment. That's the TMZ aspect of it. Well, now, if you want to talk about AJ's impact on, and everybody will be happy at that point. So that's a story. If you want to talk about AJ's impact on the Pats and how the Eagles did without him, that's legitimate story. But I Eagles Ravens. There you go. That's Super Bowl I want to see.
The Ravens aren't doing that. Stop it.
You got the new young coach.
Loyalty to Lamar Jackson to make a Super Bowl. You're just going to keep saying it every year.
Now, well, you're right. I said eventually I would pick them because eventually it's going to line up.
I don't know if it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it is now. It's Jesse Minter. Now, sometimes you get a new coach gives you a little bit of juice just because you're doing things different way. I'll tell you what, like he's got that young guy mentality of trying shit in the preseason. That's what I learned from that. Like he's throwing all these exotic pressures at the end. The Eagles are like fucking don't know what to do. So,
yeah,
I mean, I like that. And I like defensive guys. So maybe
there's some value to that in a first-time coach. From a sense of, just early win, get an early win. That's not hard to do because nobody else is doing exotic looks,
Well, no, some of these Flores doesn't. He's running out week 8 blitzes and fucking preseason and Jackson Dart's banging his head on the turf.
Right. Like if you have confidence and you believe like you got the ability, it's like you're not going to be worried about like keeping everything out off tape and all those. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes Nick goes too far with that.
Oh, he definitely goes too far. You're keeping 10 things off tape, dude. Everybody knows what you're going to run. Everybody knows. Right. Everybody could turn on Green Bay last year and know what you're going to run.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited is John McMullen for tomorrow's preseason game?
1 to 10, I'm going to go 2.
2? Oh, wow. I thought for sure I was getting a 0 or a 1. I'll take it.
I'm kind of interested to see how Tanner handles it. I think he'll start, and I think he needs to play well, so I'm kind of interested to see how he handles it. And I shouldn't be as negative when it comes to these things. These things are important for the players in them.
Well, they got to play like it this week. They didn't play like it last week.
Well, they were trying. I mean,
I don't know about that.
No, they were trying, but right there might have explained it. Like Jesse Minter was trying, and the Eagles coaching staff really wasn't trying. Yeah, but the players were trying.
The players are trying, but they gotta do a little more this time around. All right, Johnny Mac, great stuff, man. Your final thoughts. 2 joint practices this week for the Patriots and the Eagles. 2, I thought, good ones because you learn, you get to battle against a good football team in practice. Duke it out. Everybody gets a little better. I think Quinion gets better when you're lined up against A.J. Brown than you're lined up against Elijah Moore and the Eagles practices. So I think people get better when you go against good teams. Your
Well, they
final
definitely
thoughts on this Friday.
Well, I'll end with that final thought from Vic. If you heard Vic talking about the joint practices, it's one of the few times where he got ebullience. He was like, he said he loved these things. They're great. Something like I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I wish we did more or we had more. And he was talking about going against a new team, different philosophy, different players. And that just makes you better. You learn things. And he mentioned the fullback, they don't get to see a fullback. The Eagles rarely use it. And they're going to need it at some point. So the different looks and all that stuff. And ultimately, I believe he closed it with, I can't get enough of it. So, I mean, it's valuable to test yourself. And again, against another good team. This isn't the Jets or the Raiders or a rebuilding team. This is a really good team. So win, lose, draw, but anybody declared it was good for the Eagles because they got to practice against another good team.
Yep, agreed. Johnny Mac, good stuff, man. I will catch up with you tomorrow for the preseason game on Saturday night. Looking forward to it, J-Mac. Thank you, bro.
Woo! Yeah, let's get through it. Then you get one more. I'm already thinking about Cincinnati. I got to get through this one first.
All right, J-Mac. I'll catch you tomorrow, my friend.
All right, see you, bud.
Later, dude. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen joining us right here on Bear 365. Great show this morning. Appreciate all you guys doing it. Did you guys hear good thing my new desk, by the way, I got a story about that. I'll get to that in a second. Good thing my new desk came. Did you hear my desk break in the middle of the show? Fucking thing clanked into the ground. I'm like, holy shit, is my computer going to fall? It's good. It's good. Yeah, I ordered my desk stuff. I told you guys I'm building. I got the bookcase 1, bookcase 2, the filing cabinet. I'll show you guys it in a second. But I'm trying to build my desk, and I got the frame. So the frame is actually, let me see here. The frame is actually, hopefully I don't unplug the camera, on the ground. Okay. FedEx yesterday. Your desktop is delivering today. Right? I get the frame out. I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, get the desktop. All I got to do is get boom, 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 boom. FedEx doesn't show up. 10 to 2 the delivery. Doesn't show up. Goodbye. Last night it says it's going to deliver by the end of the day. Still no show. 9 p.m. last night. The delivery goes from 15 minutes away from my house. You know how FedEx gives you a little tracker and where it is? 15 minutes from my house to freaking Thornbury, Ohio. I'm like, are you kidding me? How does my desktop go from 15 minutes away from my place to 8 hours away in Ohio? What moron messed this up at FedEx? Brutal. Brutal. Slagger, it's a area rug, you goon. There's there's the filing cabinet. Filing cabinet. Yeah, got some shit. I've been building stuff all week. I was pissed. Prince says, Zander setting his studio. That'll be a nursery. I know, Prince. I'm going to be out of here soon. Look how good my paint job is. I mean, come on, folks. Look at that paint job. Look at that paint work. Are you kidding me? Ceiling closed off perfectly. I mean, come on, folks. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with the paint? Freaking immaculate work. Immaculate work. It's going to pop once I get the desk in. I got the walnut, all the walnut furniture. All the walnut furniture should look really good. Actually, I think, let me see this thing. Where did I put the, oh, look. Yeah, so I have, that's the medium one. The desk, the bookcase, I have a small one. And then I have a big one for the middle with like drawers at the bottom. And they all got lights so I can put stuff in there. Could crank it up a little bit, turn it up, turn it down. I think I could change the color. Come on. Rasp cut in skills, maybe, but not as good as I should, honestly. I taped up the baseboards because it's not my place I'm renting. So I'm not going to, my landlord was like, yeah, you could paint, but, can you do a good job? I'm like, yeah, I'll do a good job. So the office will come together. It'll be nice when it's done. That's actually supposed to be on this side. So the desk is going to move from this side, from where it is now to that side. So in the corner, I'll have big L shape right in the corner right there. So where that outlet is over there, see that outlet? That's where technically I'll be facing every day. Oh, and then I built the closets too. I had to rip out the guy. They had like the worst closet setup. Like you have a closet like that, you gotta like make use of the space. They had the worst setup ever. So I had to take out all the shelving and stuff that they had, and I installed all new shelving. It looks pretty good actually. Let me see. You can't really see it, but long, shorter. It's good. It's good. I cranked it out. Zander, 80%. Yeah, Ty, you must be painting crazy. Yeah, I taped it. I taped it. No, it's good though. I was pissed though because I got the whole freaking base out, and they're like, "Yeah, the top's going to deliver." You can see the desk is going to be fire, and then nothing. FedEx delivers it to Ohio. I'm like, FedEx, are you fucking kidding me? So I built these though. I built the long one, and I got this one too. I think it's I don't have enough slack. I don't have enough slack to show you it, but that's a smaller one. It'll look good at the end. You'll see the vision. Zander can do computer and car stuff. Probably lacks in cooking skills. Yeah, I don't cook. That's my wife's gig. She cooks. My wife is an exceptional cook. Like exceptional. Last night she made chicken parm, homemade sauce. She made garlic bread. There's this long piece of garlic bread. She cut it open. In the middle, she put butter and garlic in the middle, closed it, butter, garlic, and the cheese, closed it, and then put Parmesan all over the top. Oh my. And then she gave me extra sauce to dip it in. Oh my gosh. It was glorious. I was cooking in terms of eating. She was cooking. I was eating. Yeah, Rasp, I'm pumped for that. I got to build all that soon. Exciting, man. I'm excited to have a kid. I really am. I'm excited as crap. Hopefully as fun as this is probably a year setup max. But I'm here a year still. Like I want to maximize it. I'm not going to sit here and wait. I hate that. You just wait. Oh, I'll wait to do this. I'll wait until I get there. No, I didn't wait. Got the job done. Here's Houston. Zander, Johnny Mack has to be stopped. His T.O. and Tony Gonzalez comments were out of pocket. T.O. comments were out of pocket. What did he say on Gonzalez? I didn't even hear it. I might have been spaced out. Yeah, 32-incher, Jimbo. It's a nice one. Big 32-incher. Yeah, I do all my work from here. I honestly might get a second one, but I'm wondering if it will make me less effective. Jimbo, glad to know you agree. Yeah, 32-inch LG, 6K monitor. How many grandchildren is that for your dad? Well, mine will be, so he's got 3 there. So 5, but I'm due March, and my brother's got another baby due in April. So we're going to have babies a month apart. That would be 4 and 5 for my dad. No, wrong. That would be 5 and 6. That would be 5 and 6. That would be 5 and 6. Rasputin, I might do it. Yeah, Jimbo, I do have a command center. I do have a command center. Yeah, it's nice though. So all of the bookcases linked together. I'm going to link them all together. So those lights that I put in the left and right side, they're perfectly aligned in all of them. And then I just control it from one control on my desk. So like it's behind me. I don't have to like go down there and fix anything. And all the wiring I put, I don't know if you can see it down there. Let me move my mic out of the way. All the wiring is under in that shelf at the bottom, so you can't see any of the wires. Freaking fire. Shut up. I'm not messing around, folks. Also, there's nothing worse than a good setup with poorly managed wires. Can't have poorly managed wires. Wireman, Morty, you have to manage your wires. This is a necessary part of life. Speaking of it, my wife just sent me a house. She said, I just got the text, just literally as I'm sitting here. She said, this house is awesome. Yeah, maybe we'll be buying it. Wow. Just crazy. Nice. Yeah, so I don't know how long I'll be here. Probably 1 year. I just ordered 2 more. Yeah, Prince, I should really do it. I do. My screen is big. So, Prince, you know what I'm not doing? Like, I'm not getting a lower quality one. I know. I sometimes I sound like a fucking snob, but I'm not going to put like a smaller one that's not like, if I'm going to get 2 monitors, I want them to be uniform. I want them to look right. Also, this one turns long way, so I could do that too. Could maybe do 2 long way together. That would be high. Then I'd be looking like this. Yeah, Daz, I have which one did I get? It was pretty expensive. I remember when I bought it. I think it's on sale now. I was pissed. I got the email the other day, and they were like, it was like this monitor is on sale from $2,000 to $1,200, and it was the exact monitor I bought. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. But I bought it 8 months ago. I mean, I needed it for the last 8 months. So, yeah, I got the LG 32 6K. The reason I got it is actually Gary in the chat, if he's in there, help me out. Because I have a Mac Studio, you really want to get good pixel per inch, or else it just gets distorted if you get a huge monitor. So it's 224 pixel per inch, 6K monitor. It's really nice. Super clean. Hogan, my landlord's pretty cool. He's a dude around here. And he's got like 3 kids in the school. Like he's not like it's not like a big company. And I know him. Like I talk to him all the time. Not know him, but like I talk to him. So I think he would be pretty cool if I told him like, yo, I'll pay obviously until I'm through. I'll give you like a good amount of time to find somebody else. I could even say I'll pay rent until you find someone else, you know. So I think he would be cool with it, but you know, I think there is a fee to break early. I'm not sure what it is, Hogan. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I don't think I will though. I'd rather probably because we're doing March and our lease is through July, so I'd probably just stay through until July and then you know maybe move at the end of it. Move at the end of it if I'm ready to buy. I'm not right now. I'm not, but we'll see. So yeah, that's good. You know what else I optimized too, which is sick. Let me see if I can show you guys this. The other thing I optimized in my office is sick. Yeah, check this out. You guys can probably compare this to yours. Check this out. That's why this is why when I remember when I told you guys if there's any internet problems on the show, don't blame me. Check this out. This is speedtest.net. I'll zoom it in a little bit. All right, speedtest.net. Test your internet connection. Verizon, Philadelphia. Look at these down. Look at these speeds. Check out these speeds. These internet speeds. Look at that. 4697 on the download. Look at the upload. 6,300. Come on, get the 64. Get me the 64. 6406. 5 gig is right, baby. So that's pretty kick-ass internet right there. That's why I'm like, if I'm lagging, I don't think it's me. Yeah, that's crazy good. That's crazy good. Anybody who's like into tech, if you guys remember, I was trying to split on my router properly. And Rasputin, it might have been you actually, who was trying to tell me like about how to split it properly so you don't, you know, mess with it. Well, I've been on this site and I'm going to get some sick stuff from there. Unify, Rasputin, you might know what Unify is. I'm going to get the big splitter. So once I buy a house, I'm going to get like the command center, 5 gig, have the 48 thing splitter properly from Unify, and then I'm going to wire it all up through the house to like any cameras I have. I'm going to get outdoor Wi-Fi, garage Wi-Fi. It's going to be sick. Verizon. Yeah, Verizon. Yeah, Rash. So I'm in on Unify. I'm trying to get like a sick setup for the home Wi-Fi. I built the whole. I don't know if I have it in a PDF. I probably wouldn't show the PDF because there's probably some information on there I wouldn't want to put on the air, but I have a sick PDF that maps out the whole thing. Friggin' sweet. Friggin' sweet. And secure too. And secure to the point where I think all of me, like any cameras I would do at the house would go to local. So they would store everything locally as opposed to putting it on the cloud, which would be nice. Hogan, what's up, Hogan? Well, brother, keep up the hard work. 49ers pick looks amazing. Running back from Indiana and wide receiver, everyone trashed. Dunkin' coffee on me for the day. Hogan, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Who's the running back pick from Indiana? 49ers running back from Indiana. I don't even know who it is. Oh, Kalen Black. Yeah, I read about him a little bit at the draft. He was drafted where? 3rd round? Third rounder, I think I remember. Let me look. Yep, third rounder, 90th overall. Yeah, well, that's good. He's looking good for you guys. We'll see how good the 49ers are. You guys need some younger players, dude. You guys are old. Wide receiver, everyone trashed is who? I don't know who the wide receiver. Yeah, A-team. It's all about the setup, dude. You can fix it, but it's especially if you live in like an older home, and there's like stone or brick or anything like that. Wi-Fi is not going to travel good. Most of the new age homes are fucking built with sticks and twigs. Sticks and twigs. These new homes. But all right, guys. Good stuff. Big week, I thought, for the Birds this week. Two obviously joint practices with the Patriots, and some good, some bad. I think that's what you're going to get from. I think that's what you're going to get from two joint practices with a good team. But I think it's good learning. You can identify areas, see different defenses, different looks, different players. So I think it was a good week. And then tomorrow, the game. I think the game will be probably not very exciting, but we'll talk about it. We'll do a show. We'll do a pregame show and a postgame show. Not too long. I mean, we'll do 30 minutes before, 30 minutes, 40 minutes at 40. No, I did like an hour last week. I'll do an hour after. So we'll break it down. We'll talk about it tomorrow. See who shows up. All right. Daz, I actually am trying to build out a whole home one, not for anything else, but a home one for sure. Would be pretty sick. But all right, folks. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I got to get back to building. I now have to build I did the filing cabinet last night and the two bookshelves. I got the big bookshelf. I don't think the full thing delivered yet. Only part of it did. I got to build the storage cabinet, and I got to build the desk. I can't finish the desk. So is what it is. All right. Yes, Morty, the whoop is gone. I never thought I would be this. I'm still not decided on it. You guys can call me out if you think so. I might be that nerd and go to wear an Apple Watch. I know. I always said I'm never going to be an Apple Watch dork. Sorry if you wear an Apple Watch. But it's too enticing with my agent setup to be able to talk to my computer through it. So if I'm not in the house, boom, I can talk to my computer. Yo, go check the analytics from the latest YouTube video. Yo, go publish an article to the JAKIB Sports site. Yo, go give me the update on, the finances in my business. I don't know, man. Morty, I know you won't like it. Don't do it. They're so dorky. I know they are. I know. Film yourself talking. Morty, I don't really care, all right? Slagger, I got a couple Mac minis right here on the desk. I got the studio for my main stuff, and the minis are my agents. Works good. Yeah, Prince, the government's already listening, bro. Also, Prince, I told you I use WhisperFlow. Dude, I just talk all day to my computer. I got to buy a new mic. That's what I need a new mic. This thing is look, it's still got XLR. It's the micro USB. It's not even USB-C. I need a new mic. Yeah. It never ends, the amount of money you got to spend. I just got a couple extra peanuts to buy the stuff for my studio. It's gone. All right, folks, we'll see. He's changing right. Yeah, I am, Morty. What, do you want me to stay stagnant? No, I'll never do it. All right, folks, love all you guys. Hit that like button. See you next time, everybody. I know. The paint job is good. I know. Love you guys. See you next time.